Hi you guys, welcome back to the show. My name is Brad. This is the Firefighter's Financial Toolbox. Last week I made a video about Tesla having its biggest week in its history, and I also mentioned that it may be entering soon the S&P 500 and what that means to the stock and what it could possibly mean to the valuation of the stock. This morning I checked just to see where Tesla was, and it's trading at right around $1,500 per share, you guys. Luckily, I bought 2 shares when it was $220, so I'm up a lot. But there's a lot of speculation on whether it's going to go up more or whether it's going to go down. And here's some stories I wanted to read about it. Wall Street's most controversial stock may be about to go mainstream. Tesla appears on the verge of joining the S&P 500, a major accomplishment for the CEO, Elon Musk, that would unleash a flood of new demand for the electric car maker's shares, which have already surged 500% over the past year. Higher than expected second quarter vehicle deliveries announced last week have analysts increasingly confident the company will show a profit for its second quarter, reporting on July 22nd. That will mark Tesla's first cumulative 4-quarter profit, a key hurdle that is required for being added to the S&P 500. With a market capitalization of about $250 billion, Tesla will be among the most valuable companies ever added to the S&P 500, larger than 95% of the index's existing components. It would have a major impact on the investment funds that track the index. So what does that mean exactly to us? You guys, as you know, a lot of money flows into S&P 500 investing funds. SPY, the Spider S&P 500 ETF, VOO, IVV, which is the iShares 500, Fidelity 500 Index Fund. This is a situation we haven't seen since 1999, when Yahoo surged 64% in 5 trading days between the announcement that it would be added to the index on November 30th until after its inclusion on December 7th. Yahoo's market capitalization at that time was about 56 billion. So you guys, about 1/5 of what Tesla stock is. The lesson learned from Yahoo was that when you have an up and coming issue that may possibly go to the index, you should already own a little bit of it. If you had to get into that stock, you were paying a heck of a premium compared to owning it a week earlier. So all those funds out there that we just talked about that attempt to identically track the S&P 500, and combined they have an asset value of about $4.4 trillion, you guys, in those funds. Those funds would need to buy Tesla shares quickly to avoid errors in their tracking of the index, because if they don't have it as part of the index, they're not actually following the S&P 500. Ivan Kajic, the head of index and ETF research at Verge Financial, estimates that index managers would need to own roughly 25 million shares of Tesla stock, and that's currently worth about $34 billion, you guys. You have all the index funds that have no choice but to include it. That's one of the reasons it's been so strong in their anticipation of them joining. Additionally, active managed investments that benchmark their performance on the S&P 500 will also be forced to decide whether or not they want to include Tesla shares. Even if you don't like Tesla, you guys, it would mean trillions of dollars going into the index. And it's really hard to ignore that. Tesla recently took over Apple as the most shorted stock in the United States. Short sellers are betting about $19 billion that Tesla shares will fail, the largest short level ever recorded on a U.S. company in dollars. Traders betting Tesla could be added to the S&P 500 have almost certainly contributed to the recent rally. However, Bianco warned that stocks could reverse if it didn't get in. There's a panel that meets that allows companies to be added to the S&P 500. It's a panel of 9 people. There have been companies added every month of the year. So once they have once Tesla submits its second quarter earnings report on July 22nd, it could be as soon as a few days to a month, or maybe even longer. It's up to the panel to decide when that is. But I think you're going to see a lot of things changing when it does become part of the S&P 500, because it's going to make up about 0.9% of the whole S&P 500. You guys, it's going to be a major player. $34 billion in shares need to be bought. What's going to happen? Is it going to go up? There have been companies that have gone up and gone up when they get in the index, and then they drop off. Is Tesla overvalued? Is it undervalued? I don't know. It's a pretty exciting time. I was lucky enough to get into some shares really inexpensively at the time. As I said, mine are up over 550%. Pretty good. But I only have 2 shares. But if they get an S&P 500, I have lots of S&P 500 coverage. So I'll have more shares through that, albeit through a piece of the company in the index. All right, you guys, hope you got something out of this. If you did, drop me a like. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you have a question about what I talked about, or if you have a comment or anything you'd like to see in a future show, you guys, put it down below. All right, we'll see you.